there's a lot of stuff on the keto side, right? There's tons of people out there talking about the science behind keto, the science behind carnivore, why this nutrition aspect or that, or hormones, or all these things, right? We don't really have a lot of people that are talking about just the basics of what are the benefits of fitness? How do you get started with fitness? How does fitness play a role in overall health? I think I had a post recently or I'm thinking about a post. I don't remember if I actually posted it or not, where I want to just talk about how everyone says six packs are made in the kitchen, right? And I disagree with that to a point. When you're talking about total health, you can lose body fat with nutrition, and you don't need to, like, you can lose body fat and never exercise a day in your life, right? But you cannot develop health without some aspect of fitness, right? You cannot be as healthy and live your best life and have physical freedom and be a fit and healthy and productive member of society unless you have fitness involved. So to me, in the big picture of quality of life, fitness is just as important as nutrition. I think it's 50-50, and that's kind of how I look at it. And I think we get caught up on the weight loss side, the fat loss side, and go, oh, you can do it all without exercise. And okay, great. Now what? Right? You got skinny, but you can't lift. You can't lift anything. You can't do anything. Right? You have no energy. You're tired. You're still, all those things still happen. So that's kind of what this is about, as well as just showing the story. Right? You have a story. You didn't get started in fitness and started doing this health stuff right out the gate. Right? You've got a story that you got to a point and you said, hey, something's got to change, and then you kind of got into this. I got to a point where I said, hey, something's got to change, and then I got into this. And that's where a lot of the people you see on social media that are influencers in the space, everyone sees what they're doing now, and it's like, man, I want to do that. But then they go, but I couldn't do it what they're doing. And I wanted to let people know you can do what we're doing, because we were exactly like you a year, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8 years ago, exactly 100%. Like you, you know? So I want to tell that story and kind of say, hey, okay, where are you? Where'd you come from? And what are you doing? So John, the Keto Road. So where did the Keto Road come from? What is that all about?
Oh, that's a great question. So no one's asked me that before. So basically, I started doing keto, and I fell in love with how it made me feel in the gym, outside of the gym, just overall life. And I started like documenting. It used to be keto and Jesus a long time ago when I started keto. And then when I decided to prep for my first bodybuilding competition, I wanted to kind of like document my life. And so like, for me, my life is like a road, right? It's full of potholes and bumps and cracks, and some of it's smooth, some of it's not, and we all have to drive down it. And keto really helped me in a lot of ways, which we can always get into. The nutrition side of things, it really helped me in my life in general. And so the Keto Road is basically me saying, hey, this is my life through the lens of a ketogenic diet. Come join me. Come watch it. You know?
Gotcha. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's about as real as you can get, right? You're doing, you're walking the walk and then saying, come with me, not just kind of standing on a pedestal and saying, hey, do this, do that, do this. It's like, hey, let's come on. We're all in this together. We all got to learn together. You know, we all make the same mistakes. Let's figure it out together and kind of go from there. That's cool.
Yeah.
So what are you doing now? So you've got the Keto Road. That is your name on Instagram. That's your business. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, so I'm a one-on-one, full-time online ketogenic nutrition coach. That's such a mouthful. Basically, I do one-on-one nutrition coaching, and that's what I do full-time. I've been doing it full-time since January of 2019.
Okay.
And then I bought my business in November of last year, and I've been doing it all on my lonesome since then. And then I'm currently in school in the NTA to become a nutritional therapist practitioner. And so soon.
What is a nutritional therapist versus a nutritionist or a dietitian?
Oh, great question. So I would say the biggest thing is in our focus. So like a registered dietitian is going to be looking at very similar things, but you know they're looking at overall health through the lens of like macronutrients and stuff. Whereas I would say a nutritional therapist, the difference there is our specific focus. Like we have a 5 foundation focus. So fatty acids, digestion, hydration, mineral and vitamins, and Oh, see, I already blanked on one of them. Tisk tisk. But basically, we have 5 foundations that we focus on, and then we also have what's called a functional clinical assessment, which is very special to my uh,
Yeah.
my field. And basically, it's a series of palpations that look for inflammation and nutrition deficiencies in different parts of my patients' bodies. And
Okay.
then through that, I can help prescribe nutraceuticals and diet changes to help heal their body.
Gotcha.
So it's Judy, Nutrition with Judy, she's an NTP.
Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
All right. So that's good. Some
yeah,
good footsteps to follow in.
yeah.
So you're looking at healing through nutrition, using
Exactly.
nutrition as medicine, as opposed to what most dietitians do and say, we're looking at nutrition for fat loss, body composition. Those probably, from my experience, that's really the two big things that dietitians look at, right?
Yeah, so they're big
Or
on like oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, or how, you have this disease, you have this. I feel like dietitians are much more reactive,
Mm,
right? There's a
yeah.
problem. Let's see if we can manage it with your combination of nutrition and medication,
Hmm.
as opposed to, it sounds to me like you're looking at not just healing, but also prevention, right? And
Yeah.
maintenance
So
and doing things, but really looking at just nutrition and not dealing with medications as much.
yeah, so we don't deal with medications at all.
Yeah.
I'm not a licensed medical professional. I
Right.
technically am a certified clinical professional, so I can't prescribe. I can't prescribe medications and pharmaceuticals. I can't diagnose you with a certain issue or
Right.
symptom. All I can do is look at what nutrients you're deficient in and see if I can give your body what it needs to support itself and get healthy.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that, yeah, you said it well. That's pretty much the
Okay.
big difference.
Okay. Are you familiar with Marty Kendall and Nutrient Optimizer?
I am not.
Oh my gosh, you've got to check that out.
Game changer?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Nutrientoptimizer.com. Marty Kendall is based out of Australia. He got
Hmm.
started a few years ago. His wife had I want to say type 2 diabetes. I remember if it was 1 or 2. And he kind of got into this whole thing, like, what can we do diet, nutrition wise, et cetera, et cetera. And ended up on this track of nutrient density versus caloric density, developed a app. Like he's got thousands of people's worth of data for years and years that he's been compiling things and identifying things like, where does satiety come from, right? Because he can look at what people are eating and how many nutrients and micronutrients are getting to determine when they're full, and the value of protein versus, he's got so much information out there. If you get a chance, definitely check it out. I think it benefits you a lot,
Fascinating.
particularly if micronutrients and nutrient density is a big thing
Yeah,
with what
yeah,
we're
it
doing.
is.
That's
It
what he's
is.
all about. Excellent resources. Marty Kendall. He's on Facebook. I think he's on Instagram, but mostly Facebook for Nutrient Optimizer, and on the web, nutrientoptimizer.com.
Already
He's
can.
worked with Louis at Keto Gains. He's worked with Rob Wolf. He's worked with a ton of people and got some good stuff going.
Okay. Dope.
All right. So you're a nutritional therapist. How did that start? Like, where did you tell us a little bit about where you came from? You said, when we talked a little bit before, you said you've been a fitness enthusiast for about 8 years. You've
Hmm.
been into fitness. You mentioned bodybuilding. Where does your journey start, and how did you kind of get to where you are now?
Ooh, okay. We're gonna go down the rabbit hole. I'm ready.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So basically, I grew up, and due to like childhood circumstance, I became a very emotional eater. By the time I was 15, I was 260 pounds. I had a 50-inch waist. Very large child.
Yeah.
Um, I went to the doctor one day. I remember I got on the scale. It said 259. The doctor said my cholesterol was like 330, and not like keto cholesterol. We're talking like
Yeah.
McSpicy's cholesterol,
Yeah.
you know. Um, and so I'm like, oh crap, I gotta do something. So I remember, and I've always been like, when I want to do something, I'm like a bull in a china shop. So I was like, I'm gonna do this. And I went home that day and I ran like 2 miles. I like made myself throw up. It was like this huge like stone turned over, right? And from then on, just like fitness was a thing, like working out, running to my school, and like we had like morning trainings for football. 'Cause I
Yeah.
played football, and I would run to the school, work out for 2-3 hours, and then run back. So you're talking like 4 miles there, 4 miles back,
Right.
crazy stuff. Ended up getting down. I lost like I got down to like 170. Even modeled for Academy for a year. That was a cool experience.
Wow.
Yeah. But in that, because of my some of the mental things, my body dysmorphia, my acceptance of others, accepting me and not making fun of me because I wasn't the fat kid. I developed a real fear of weight gain, and that turned into developing bulimia. And so that was a really big issue. But the fitness continued, but all the diets I went on were either low fat, really high protein, low carb. I mean, just low everything.
Yeah.
And no hormonal nutrition whatsoever. I'm drinking skim milk and eating Captain Crunch and spinach leaves and chicken breast and fat-free ranch, right?
Wow.
Yeah, I did that for years. And so, the hormones were all over the place. I would binge, purge, but fitness was always there. Worked at LA Fitness as an assistant personal training director. Like I always was into working out, but I never really knew how to optimize myself. And I really say that a lot of like my nutrition was clouding a lot of my thought process too. I really believe that.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I stumbled across keto in September of 2017. I tried it. And I liked it a lot. I remember I did it for like 8 weeks, and then I tried to eat carbs again. I had there was an extra large Brooklyn style Domino's pizza. I ate that sucker, and I felt
the whole thing,
and I felt terrible. So then I was like, no, I'm gonna wait. And so I went keto again, and then Christmas Eve of 2017, I had some Christmas cookies, like 5 of them. Made me feel like garbage. I said, I'm done with carbs, never again.
Yep.
And then after that, I was like, okay, well, I want to put on muscle because my idea of putting on muscle was like a month of like binging and then like a month of cutting. You're
right.
dieting.
Yeah, that's why I started carnivore, because I got tired.
Yeah,
of it. I get like, can I just get stronger and bigger and not have to get fat, please? Like, please, that's all I want.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so I Googled, can you build muscle on keto? And one of Robert Sykes' Keto Savages things popped up. And I was like, oh crap. So I emailed the guy. Decided to work with them, prepped for my first bodybuilding show, February of 2018 to August. And during that time, like it got me off my ADHD medications, all of that. And so I fell in love with like my love for fitness and nutrition really fired up. And because I had always been a big fitness guy and I did like that, me realizing through keto that nutrition is really the cornerstone made me develop a very strong passion for nutrition and sharing keto with people and just overall like wellness. But anyways, so then my keto journey really took off and I started keto coaching. And then as I've progressed as a coach, and went to school, and I decided I wanted a deeper understanding because I didn't want to just understand that keto helped. I wanted to understand why it was helping.
It helps. Absolutely.
What was going on at a cellular level in my endocrine system, my immune system? What was going on that was making this all awesome?
Right.
Because it's awesome to be able to tell people what happened, but if you can tell them how it happens, that'll blow somebody's mind, right?
If
they believe you. So I started looking for schools, and NTA, Nutritional Therapy Association, popped up. Looked at their courses. I loved them. And and so I started going to school there in September of last year. And I've loved it, man. It is, it's rigorous. It's like 17 classes in like 9 months. It's super intense. But it's been so eye-opening. And the thing is like, for me, it's not even like about keto particularly anymore. It's about having a healthy diet. And for me, based off the research, a healthy diet is one that it prioritizes healthy fats, prioritizes bioavailable proteins, reduces refined carbohydrates, focuses on hydration and micronutrients. If you do those 5 things, you're probably going to be eating a primarily fat ratio diet anyways. You're going to be like running on fat as fuel and using protein as muscle feeding. Like, you're going to be doing something right if you follow those 5 simple rules. And so, now we're here.
And now we're here. So I want to go back to a couple of things. You mentioned bulimia, and I noticed in your bio, part of what you do and what you focus on when you work with clients is eating disorders. Can you explain a little bit? Because number one, hearing a guy talk about eating disorders is not something that you expect a lot of times. Usually most people think of eating disorders and you think of, you think of women.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain a little bit about what bulimia is, and then kind of what your process has been to kind of work through that, and how you help other people that have the same thing?
Yeah, so bulimia is the act of binging and then purging, right? So there's like basically I look at like there's three different kinds of eating disorders, right? There's the anorexia where they don't eat at all. There is the emotional eater that eats and doesn't do anything, and they gain hundreds and hundreds of pounds. And then you have people like me that want like what we think is a sweet spot. You know, like we can
Right.
eat all we want, but we can get rid of it. And so really like it's mostly known as making yourself throw up after you eat. But bulimia can come in many forms. If you binge and then you go run on the treadmill for 4 hours to make up for it, to me, if you do that frequently, like that's your like reaction to when you
Gotcha.
overeat, like that's bulimia. Like you are purging. It's just not stomach acid coming out of your esophagus. You're just going to exhaust your adrenals
Right.
to
Right.
not nothing. Um, and so basically, how that developed was, as I said, going back, was it's actually interesting. So when I was a kid, and I didn't notice this until about a week ago. So this is actually really cool. We're talking about this right now. So when I was a kid, I used to like want to see my mom, and so like when I was at school, I would like make myself throw up, and
Hmm.
and the doctor would like call her and say, "Hey, John's throwing up. You got to come pick him up."
Right.
And so I think at an early age, I equated making myself throw up to getting what I wanted.
Interesting.
Very interesting. And it makes sense. But then, so fast forward when I'm older, and I didn't want to get fat, I didn't want to gain weight, but my hunger hormones were so out of whack because of the diet I was eating to lose weight that like I couldn't help but overeat sometimes. And like when I overate, like I would over. Are you talking like two whole pizzas? Kind of like
Wow.
overeating.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was so scared of getting fat that I would one day I was like, I gotta figure this out. So I made myself throw up. And what's weird about bulimia is the actual act becomes an addiction. So like I got
Hmm.
it like it went from just making myself throw up when I had a really bad meal to it didn't matter if I ate a salad. I was gonna try and make myself throw up. Like I wanted to feel that
That
release, that
release.
emptying out. Yeah, like I wanted to
Interesting.
feel it. Yeah,
Okay.
you become addicted to this. It's like almost like a hit of like taking a hit of your favorite drug, like if you're a cocaine addict. Same kind of concept. So it got bad, man. I was throwing up like every meal, like 3, 4 times a day. Like I turned into skin and bones. It was nuts. And then my parents found out, and it got super, super embarrassing. And then I found my faith, and I think my faith really helped me. I became a Christian when I was 16. I didn't grow up in a spiritual home,
Hmm.
and I think that realizing that, like, okay, so I'm this born again believer. I believe in Jesus, and He died for me, and so the Holy Spirit lives in me, and so like I'm this temple of God. So like I should take care of this temple, and I shouldn't be making myself throw up. Right? That's not okay. Like I'm
Yeah.
defiling this thing that I've been given as a gift, and so I started trying to work on it. But I think really what happened was I was working on it the wrong way, and we can get in that more detail. But
Hmm.
basically, like um, I was super focused on trying to learn to maintain my weight so it wouldn't trigger the binge,
Right.
then try to figure out why I was binging and purging in the first place. And so I realized that at one point, as long as I maintained a certain image, like as long as I had abs, I was sitting
Okay.
under 200 pounds, like I didn't have the urge to purge. I didn't have the urge to purge. Call me a rapper. And so but that didn't, and so it was great. It was great because I thought I had overcome it, and I would have like an episode every now and then, like every like 6 or 7 months, I would like make myself throw up, and my wife would find throw up on the toilet, and she'd be like, "You make yourself throw up," and it'd be like this whole emotional ordeal, and I kept trying to like push it back, like, "Oh, I'm over it, whatever."
Right.
And then after my show in 2018, because like after you prep, like the way you have to diet to get on stage is really intense.
It messes you up.
Yeah,
And if you
so
have the
I
eating
was.
disorder, it definitely doesn't help.
Oh, dude. Yeah, yeah, we can definitely get into that. But so it triggered me bad, and I started having some binge sessions, and then I remember September 15th of 2018, I made myself. It's the last time I made myself throw up. I relapsed, but I was already a coach, and I was an influencer at that time. Not big, but
Hmm.
whatever. Numbers don't matter. Um, And I was like, okay, this can't happen again. Like, I'm done. I'm done. Right. I need to figure out what's going on. Why am I doing this? And that's when it really started to change. That's the turning point. And I think what I figured out was that it was my body dysmorphia, really. That was what it stemmed from. Like, this idea that, like, I relied on the acceptance of others and the outside view of myself to
Hmm.
love myself rather than just loving my body for what it's been through for me, the fact that it's still kicking and what it's capable of, and like
Right.
loving myself for where I'm at. Um, and so there was a season of my life where, like, I put on some weight. I rebounded really bad. I just stopped trying to lose weight. I gained a bunch of weight, which I'm paying for it now in my prep. But but I learned, I got up to that heavy weight of like 230. And granted, I put on a lot of muscle because I was focused on that. But I put on body fat too. But like, I got up there and I realized, hey, like, I'm okay. Like, I'm not like this person that everybody hates. Like, and then I really started working on like loving myself. And I
Hmm.
think that's the change. Because, like, I think that when you learn to love yourself, you start to care about yourself. Like self-love turns into good, healthy choices, and it turns into self-empowerment, because now it's like, hey, I shouldn't do this not because someone else tells me it's wrong, but because I love myself too much to put
Yeah.
myself through that, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that was really the turning point for me. And I think that, so when it went, how all of that translates over to helping my clients that have eating disorders. One, I think a lot more people have eating disorders than they want to admit,
Sure.
especially men,
Yeah.
especially men.
Yeah.
And I think the reason for that is, like, there's like this dichotomy of, like, you're a man, so you're not supposed to have emotions. And what I try to explain to, like, a lot of people is, like, listen, no, it's not a man isn't someone that doesn't have any emotions. A man is somebody that can be confident in his emotions and
Hmm.
not be afraid to show them, because, hey, like, he's a man, he can portray himself the way that he actually is. And, like,
Right.
that's what makes you tough in my eyes, right? And I think that helps a lot of people be more vulnerable, seek help, get support, and know they're not alone. But how I help, like, my clients through what I've been through is, one, I try to work with them on, like, trusting the process, taking our time, understanding that, NSVs are huge for people with eating disorders, like, not just relying on the scale, focusing on
Right.
measurements and photos, and like, some clients that have it major, it's like waking up every morning and I have them send me a message of, like, a positive thing about themselves, like
Right.
building themselves up, having that positive affirmation and thought
Can you
process.
can you explain what an NSV is?
Oh, non-scale victory.
They're
Yeah,
awesome, aren't they? I
yeah,
knew
I
I
love
knew what you were
non-scale
saying, but
victory.
I'm sure somebody listening is like, "What's an NSV?" Right. And when we talk about NSVs, non-scale victories, it's those things like when you wake up in the morning and you put your pants on, you're like, "Oh crap, I got an extra inch in here. Like I can move it." Or you do something, you see yourself in the mirror, you catch that glance of your body, and you're like, "Holy, who's that person?" Or someone just compliments you at the workplace. Hey, you look like you're losing some weight, or you look bigger, you look stronger, like you look happier, you look like you have more energy, or those are the types of things that you know are when we talk about quality of life and getting healthy. That's what matters. Your weight really doesn't really mean anything. Your scale doesn't really tell you how are you living your life.
Yeah, no, 100%, exactly. So yeah, that's basically how that translates, though.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So let's see here. You mentioned your fitness. You mentioned bodybuilding. You talk about you did a show. You're getting ready for another show. What's your fitness journey? You mentioned working at LA Fitness. So
Mhm.
this whole time you played football. You did the workouts there. Did you maintain a fitness routine the whole time? When you had this thing click after your show or during your show in 2018, is that when you contacted Rob, or was that after you contacted Rob?
So I contacted Rob. So Rob coached me through my first show.
Your first
So
show.
this
Okay.
was, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
No, so I don't think I think I've stepped foot in a gym at least once um a week since I was like 16 years old.
Okay.
At least once a week. I
Okay.
can't remember the last time I took 7 days off from the gym. I
Right.
really can't.
Right.
It's
Okay.
impossible.
How important is that part of your life to you think to just keeping you at least some pointed in the right direction, or like if you didn't have the gym, where do you think you would be?
Oh. Gosh, that's a terrible question to ask. I don't even want to think about it. For me, fitness is really like nutrition's my cornerstone, but fitness is the foundation of my house, right? Like the working out is something that drives me, and not because I want to be like the lunk on the beach, but just like the feeling of going in there. Like I think the number one feeling that I love from the gym is when I go there when I don't want to, and I work out, and then I
Mhm.
get out, and I'm like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got today. I got today. Today's gonna be easy.
yeah, yeah,
I just
absolutely.
I just love what the gym. I just love what fitness brings, man. Like we can talk about the hormonal aspects, like the endorphins, the
Mhm.
dopamine dumps, the healthy hormone balances it creates, the way that it can like even like going for a walk, like the way it can stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. Like there's so many benefits to just moving your body and putting some resistance against it. Yeah, I don't know where I would be without that. I would be very lost for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Okay. For I'm just thinking about what you just said and comparing that to the feeling you said you got when you purged. Is that a similar? Do you think there's a correlation there? Like,
Mm,
you call it the runner's high, right? You get the runner's high, you get to a certain point. When you're working out, you feel that pump, right? When you're doing something, like if you're doing a CrossFit workout, you finish that workout, you're laying on the ground and you're gassed out. But you're like, man, this feels good. I want to do it again, right? That whole, um, I hate you. I hate this gym. This workout sucked. I'll see you tomorrow, right? That whole thought process of this is
mhm,
horrible while I'm doing it, but there's something about it that makes me want to keep doing it again. And if you don't get out there and do it, you're never going to experience that.
mhm.
And it can
Yeah.
become addicting, right? It almost as much as a drug or something else like that. Like you just have
Mhm.
that, I need this feeling of accomplishment. I need this feeling of pushing myself. And is that what similar to how you feel?
Yeah, for sure. I think at first it was a necessity. Like I had to work out because I had to get the weight off when I was
Okay.
younger.
Yep.
And I think as I kept going, I started to fall in love with the pain. I started to fall in love with the process. And I tell clients that all the time. I'm like, hey, listen, like I know you've never been in the gym. I know you're sore, but I promise you, as you go on, you are going to fall in love with this thing. I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen a day from now. I'm not even gonna say
Right.
it's gonna be a week.
Right.
It could be a year, but eventually you're gonna find some aspect of the gym or some aspect of working out, even if you work out at home with like bands, you're just gonna find something you love about it. Whether it's getting through it, whether it's the feeling of relaxation afterwards,
Yep.
whether it's the burn in the middle, like you do, like there's just something addicting about that process, right? And so yeah, I definitely feel that way now. Like
Yeah.
I just it's definitely my fix. And I have to be careful because like like, especially right now I'm so low in calories that like I can't like overtrain or like I don't recover right, and then the
Hmm.
next week it's just miserable.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's super addicting.
So, how important is having a coach from a fitness perspective?
Hmm. You know, I think that mm, that's a good one. Why put me on the spot?
Be honest. I mean, if you feel like some people are like, oh, you can do it on your own. I feel like there are some people that can do it on their own, but I think they're kind of like unicorns to a point. I think everybody can benefit from having a coach. But I'd like to see what your thoughts are.
I think everybody should try it once.
Okay.
Um,
Yep.
I think that I think that if you think you never should hire a coach because you've got it, I think that, and not in a negative way, but in the depth in the defining way that's out of ignorance because you've
Hmm.
never experienced it. Now, if
Yeah.
you've gotten a coach and you're like, hey, listen, like I did this for a couple months, I learned some stuff, but I got this. Great, great. You do you, bro. I'm glad you got it. But like I think a lot of people don't realize how much healthier their journey would be, how much more consistent their journey would be, and how much more knowledge they could obtain about themselves and
Hmm.
about nutrition and fitness.
Yep.
If they got somebody above them, like even I've had a coach. Like coaches have coaches, right? Like it's weird. Like you'll meet like a chain of coaches. Like someone coaches, and then their coach has a coach, and their coach has a coach, and like it can just
Right.
like layer up because like
Yep.
we understand that like the importance of have somebody outside perspective. Outside perspective is so important. And I think if anything else, a coach gives you an outside perspective. And I think for some people, they don't like that because they don't like being told what to do. They don't like authority or
Sure.
whatever their reason is. But
Yep.
I think that it's still worth it, right? Like it's still worth having that extra set of eyes on your journey. And I
Right.
think it's something everybody should experience at least
Yeah.
once.
Outside feedback is huge in your journey, for multiple reasons. One of them, like you said, is that outside perspective is you're not going to tell yourself in most cases what you need to do to get out of your comfort zone. It's there, you know what you need to do, but you're not going to say, I'm going to go do that. Your coach is going to say, hey, you need to get off your ass and go do that.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm telling you as your coach. This is what you need to do to make progress. And they're going to hold you accountable. It's very hard to be accountable to yourself in many cases. They're also going to be able to share their experiences because hopefully your coach has been through the process. They've been through the journey to the point where they have gone through the same things that you're going through. And they can say, look, here's some tips. Here's some things you can do to get through this. This is a dark time. This is a mistake that you made. This is a poor decision, whatever it may be. Here's how you recover. Here's how you keep moving forward. Yeah, I think it's very, and I will say, yes, there are, if you've been working with a coach for a while and you feel like, hey, you know what, for now, I think I'm good. That's awesome. Go do, like you said, you do you. If you get to a point where you feel like you're stuck, don't be afraid to go back to that coach.
100%.
Right. It's okay to say, hey, I went with that for a while. I think I did good, but I got a question or I'm stuck or I go back to the coach. I'm sure the coach isn't going to say, no, you left, I'm never taking you back. Like that relationship is still going to be there. You can always go back and kind of work with them again. So.
Yeah, 100%. I've had clients that have gone like we hit their goal, they went away for a couple months, and then they
Yep.
message me like, "Hey, man, like I'm just missing this part of this. Like I need to come back." And I'm like, "Let's go, bro. Let's
Right.
go. I'm
Let's
ready.
get it.
I'm ready."
Let's do it. Absolutely. Absolutely. So tell me about your competition. What is this? What's going on? This is your second
Uh,
one?
yeah, it's my second one ever. I'm competing in the NFF Natural Fitness Federation.
Okay.
It's on April 25th, and I'm going to be doing Open Classic. So if I win my division, I'll go pro in this.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So the
It's only your
objective is
second show?
it's only my second show. I'm
Dang,
going
man.
for it. I'm
Okay.
going for it. Um, if I get away with it, so something I haven't talked about yet, and it's because like I'm waiting and I'm like on pins and needles about it, is because of like the whole Corona scare.
Right.
They might cancel the show. If they cancel the show, I don't. There's no way I can compete in another one. It's just there's none in the time zone, so I'm like
Right.
I'm
Right.
screwed, which will really utterly piss me off. But that's a whole other. But yeah,
Yeah.
so we'll see. So fingers crossed, everybody. Fingers crossed.
Okay. So going from being super overweight to the point where you're doing your second show, what did that weight loss journey, like if you were to do a graph of your weight through that time frame, how many ups and downs?
Before my first show, or
Yeah,
between
just
my
like when you were dealing with your eating disorder before you do, when you were super overweight, like you were 16, you said, or 15 when you were
Mhm,
300 plus pounds, or
mhm.
was it 250? I forget what you said it was.
It was
Um,
259. Yeah.
259.
Okay.
So you're 259, then you're down, then you're up, then you're down. Like, what does that look like?
Yeah. So I was 259. I got down to 175, and then I sat between 190 and 200
Okay.
from the time I was. I'd say from the time I was 18. I think when I was 18, I played 1 year. I played one semester of college football, so I got to about like 210, I think. After that, I dropped back down under 200, and I maintained under 200 from the time I was 19 until I was what 20, 22, 23, 20 until my show, until I started prepping for my show. So when I started prepping for my show, because I went keto and then I got down to like 188, and then like I had a yo-yo diet binge. I'm gonna bulk for a month and went from 188 to 203 in like 30 days, eating like 4,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and I went from like 1,800 calories a day to 4,000 overnight. And I remember I emailed Robert that, and he was like, "Bro, that is a big jump," you know. And so my prep was rough because like my metabolism hadn't caught up to me, but I had started higher with calories because
Mhm.
I was already up there. but that's a whole other conversation. But it was like, yeah, it was rough. But so I got to 203, and then I got all the way down to 180 even for my
Okay.
show. And then after that, is when I had to go through like this whole like I rebounded bad, and then I had to like focus on just like putting on weight and not trying to diet again, not react,
Right.
just
Right.
eat food and not like freak out. So that got me up to 230. So basically, I would say the beginning of this prep was the heaviest I had been since I was 15.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, of course, with a lot more muscle on my frame, because like
Sure.
the whole time
Sure.
I was a lot more serious about bodybuilding at
And the
this point.
first time that it's been based off of a consistent nutrition lifestyle,
Yes,
right? So
yes.
now you've gone through the bulimia, you've gone through the binge, you've gone through the yo-yo, you've gone through like all these different types of issues with nutrition, and now you've got that locked in, and you feel fantastic. You are like a whole new person.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, right now I feel like crap, but I'm 6 weeks out from a show, so that's fine. But,
That might be we should we should do a panel of like you and Rob, get you guys on here and just talk about, and maybe some other guys that I know and ladies, and just talk about what bodybuilding, how it's different from fitness, right? Because I think a lot of people really don't understand how different and how extreme bodybuilding actually is, and what it does to the body, and all that kind of stuff from a nutrition perspective, from the workouts, like the time you spend in the gym, what you have to focus on, just things like that. I think it might be eye-opening for some people to go, wow, that's what bodybuilders do. Holy crap.
yeah, it's really intense. It's funny. Like right now, it's at the point like I have days where I wake up and I feel great, and I have days I wake up and I feel terrible. But
Yeah.
like I know like almost everything's a chore. Like getting out of my chair after we talk to like go and do something I know I need to do. I'm gonna have to like rev myself up in my head to do it,
Right.
because like I don't want to move, and so like yeah, it's pretty intense. It can get pretty intense. You have to have a particular level of insanity to do this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's anything on the extreme, right?
Yeah.
CrossFit athletes are all crazy, right?
Oh yeah, they're insane.
Bodybuilders are crazy. Anybody that gets to a high level in pretty much any sport is so singularly focused and just fanatical or maniacal about that thing that they're doing that everything kind of goes out of whack. So I really warn people against looking at that as what their picture of fitness is, right? Because their picture of fitness should be, who is that person who can do their daily chores, play with their kids, go to work and not be exhausted, come home and still spend time with the family, go on hikes and camps and picnicking and do things with the kids. Like that's what that quality of life should be. That's what the fitness is supposed to allow. Fitness and quality of life doesn't matter if you have a six pack. It doesn't matter if you can squat 500 pounds. It doesn't matter if you can run the fastest, right? It's where are you and where are you trying to go? So
No,
what
100%.
what would you, when you talk to your clients or when you talk to people in general, what are some of the things that you give them? We can end on this, as far as how to get started making a change.
So I think, the saying, the first step is the hardest, is the biggest stride, is it has weight to it, that saying. And I feel like for a lot of people, it's exactly that. Like you just get started, like do something, like I have clients that come to me that have never counted a macro, never done anything. I'm like, hey, like, all right, well, let's just start with like, just stay within these food groups. Okay, great. Okay, now let's just now let me give you a number of carbohydrates to eat, right? And so it's like this like slow, like take that first step. Okay, great. Now take that next step. Okay,
Yep.
great. Even like with like like fitness, don't take it slow. Take your time. Have self-awareness. Like if you've never been in a gym, don't go on bodybuilding.com and get the Arnold workout that they pulled for mass gaining and go
Right.
try to crack it, right? Like start with a couple walks, like 30-minute walks 3 or 4 times a week. Okay, great. You got that down. That's normal. Great. Turn one of those into a jog. Great. All right, go to the gym. So hit some machines. Do 2 or 3 full body workouts a week, 4 sets of 10 on each machine that hits a different body part.
Right.
Very simple stuff, right? Like And once you get used to that, maybe increase the weight. Okay, great. Now let's work on some isolated barbell movements. Let's get to the dumbbells. Let's try to activate that core a little bit more. And then, maybe, and as that progresses, maybe 6 months down the road, you'll be using that Arnold workout program because you like it, right?
Right.
But I think what I see, and it's the same with nutrition and fitness, I see a lot of people, they jump the gun, right? And I know because I was one of those people. But
Right.
I mean, there's a reason that I feel like I have the ability to even like try to compete because like I am an extremist. So like, don't be me, don't be an extremist that like finds something and like, goes like, head first. Dip your toe in it. Take your time.
Yeah.
Because what I see is a lot of people want to be that extremist, but they're just not. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to like be a normal human being.
And take your
And
time.
yeah, but they jump into it, and then they jump into it, and they feel dirt sore. They can barely move the next day, or they'll go straight to beef, salt, and water. And while can be a great diet for some people, when people go from like SAD to that, and like have never like slowly peeled into it, like they just like they give up so fast, right? And like when people work out like super super hard and they can't even move, they're like, man, this working out's just not for me. I can't even move. And I'm like, well, it's because you're acting like you're on Dianabol, which is a steroid for everybody that doesn't know. I'm like, you need to calm down. Like, you're not even drinking protein shakes. Like, start with something slow. So that would be the biggest piece of advice is do your research and take your time. Dip your toe in, then your foot, then your leg, and then progress.
Right. As we were talking about right before we started the video, your red light therapy and how people, okay, I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm going keto, and then next week I'm going intermittent fasting, and then next week I'm going to start wearing blue blockers, and then I'm going to do red light therapy, and then then I'm going to do cold therapy, and then it's like, guys, like, how about you just stop drinking sodas once a day?
Yeah.
Right. That's step number one. Just get to that point first,
People love to, that's what I was going to say before we started. People love to be with the times. Like the next big thing, I've got to try it. And I'm like I've had people like email me like, hey, hoping you can help me. So I was eating normal, decided to go straight to OMAD. I've been doing some red light. I've been popping these this new fat burn pill. And I'm like, whoa. Stop the OMAD. Stop. I'm serious. I make them stop intermittent fasting. I pull back everything. I'm like, listen, here are your macros. Here's your food list. Stick to that. Let's have 2 rules. 2 rules. Let's keep this real simple, okay? And they see so much more progress. And like, why is this happening? I'm like, because sometimes we overcomplicate things and we're always on to the next big thing. And like, understand that like red light therapy, blue light blockers, all those things may be beneficial. They may be, they may not be. I don't really know. I just started trying red light therapy out. But it doesn't matter. All these things are adjacent to a foundational fitness and nutrition program. Boom. If you don't have that down, you have no reason to try and add things. Because if it makes a difference, it makes like a 1% difference. And if the other 99 isn't on point, then you're not going to see a benefit from it. It's just something you're doing, right? And you think you're being cool, but really you're not. You're not getting. It's not helping you get anywhere. You're wasting money, right? Like make sure it doesn't matter if the house is made out of marble. If the foundation is mud, the house is going to sink regardless. It does not matter, right? So make sure your foundation's solid. Whether you do that through a coach or through many people, there's a lot of people on in the fitness space that actually have good information. Study, build a plan that makes sense that you can progress into. Do it, and then once you're like optimal, once you're going like to the gym 5-6 days a week, you've got a good split going. You're eating enough protein, you're eating enough fat, carbs are gone, inflammation's gone, all that's good, and you want to try and take it up another notch. Now we can talk about, okay, could red light therapy benefit you? Could this vitamin and an extra dose? Then we can get to that. But until you've gotten to that point, there's no reason to play with the other stuff.
Absolutely, man. Good info. Appreciate it. Where can everybody find you on the interwebs besides TikTok? In case anybody wants to know, this guy is the TikTok master.
That's right.
I have not figured out how to be anywhere near as effective on that thing, but you seem to have figured it out.
Are you on it? Are you on it?
I was just put on it the other day. Yes.
Yes, I'm gonna follow you. I got you, bro. I actually, okay, so it's actually funny. Hold on, I'm gonna pull out my phone on this recording because I want to read this to you. So this person put a comment on one of my, he said, I was talking about keto, and he's like, okay, so you're eating keto. Wait, hold on. I look forward to watching some of your posts from the telemetry unit in 20 years. Because apparently, like, I don't have, because like I misspelled a word, and like I don't really care for trolls. Like I like someone, especially now, like if someone's taking the time out of their day to belittle you, how much do they hate themselves? You know? And like, but man, like we can't do that. We have to love. I don't know why I went on that. I don't know why I want to share that. But people, stop hating. Like hate does not help people get healthy. It just shows that you're a disgusting human being. Okay, moving on.
Moving on.
Yes, TikTok is the stuff though. I'll definitely follow you.
All right. What do you want? Who are you on TikTok? What's your handle and all
At the Keto Road.
Everything. So everything's at the Keto Road. All right.
TikTok's at the Keto Road. Instagram's at the Keto Road. Facebook is / the Keto Road. Email theketoroad@gmail.com and then www.theketoroad.com.
Awesome, dude. Appreciate the time, man.
Yeah, man, for sure.